Hey everybody, Alejandro,
Daniel.
Fabian.
we are Boyce Avenue and you're
PopCrush.
watching PopCrush. We kind of, it's tough. It's like we kind of focus on just one song at a time, I really think. We always love live show, like that's a huge part of what we do. We're very blessed to get to tour the world, so we kind of knew that we wanted a few tracks that were more up-tempo, that would be great and fun to play live. But we still always have like a core of like acoustic and just kind of melodic soft stuff, so we have a few of those tracks on there. So it is kind of a dynamic range.
Yeah, the creation of this EP has been really sort of experimental for us. It's just been songs we've written on the road or over the last couple years. And so while it wasn't necessarily like the kind of cohesive album that maybe you just do in a couple weeks and it's all from that space and time, it was also, the benefit was that it was also kind of us being able to experiment and be really free with trying different soundscapes like you've mentioned and different things. So
Yeah, I think so much time passed from the release of our first album, all we have left to this one, that there was like so much stuff kind of bubbling up that we wanted to
There was a lot of bubbling.
there's a lot of bubbling up we
So
wanted to
many.
get out.
so many bubbles.
And I'll be the one.
A really tough time for us was actually when we signed to a label. You usually expect that to be kind
the
of.
first thing that came to my mind.
You usually expect that to be a really joyous time, and it was, but very quickly it turned into kind of a bad marriage type scenario where we quickly found ourselves trying to figure out how to salvage things and kind of rebuild. And so, but the good news is that right after that experience, things got better than ever for us, and we were, touring was going so well, and being independent never felt better, So it was an affirmation for us that we were meant to sort of do things more on our own. So
And I can't speak necessarily on behalf of my brothers, although I think Alejandro and I think they would tend to agree, is like a lot of times too, even if you've had like a really blessed childhood or life, or you haven't had tragedy, that I think I personally derive a lot of inspiration from like movies and books and other art and stuff. And then that's kind of the fun creative process, is in your mind creating these sort of weighty scenarios or characters or stories, but you're just sort of not making it up, but you're sort of building that, creating that in your mind.
Interpreting what other people have gone through. Like we'll get some very intense, but really sweet like notes sometimes at live shows, and we'll just read this like 2-page story. And it's pretty heavy, It's like we've been very blessed, like he was saying, to not necessarily have gone through something so heavy, but we know and we're aware and conscious that is happening out there. So sometimes it's nice to write songs for those people,
Well, we just had, as a specific example, in Europe, we were doing a meet and greet, and there was a group of young sisters, and one of the sisters was a really big fan of our band, and she just recently passed away. And so all of her sisters, when they think of her, they think of us, our band, because she was such a fan of ours. And I think that hit us all really hard, or at least definitely hit me. And I know it did.
Yeah,
Danielle
it
was
all
actually
did, yeah.
crying when we met them, because it was really touching, because we are brothers.
Easy.
So like I picture, like it is powerful, because like Alejandro, I connect him with certain artists and bands that I knew we grew up loving Goo Goo Dolls and stuff like that. And so, if anything ever happened to him and I went to a Goo Goo Dolls concert, that'd be really, really powerful for me, So stuff like that happens all
And in
the
this
time.
case, it was just such a tough scenario, because I guess she had died really unexpectedly. I guess there's this thing called like adult sudden death syndrome, kind of like what happens with babies, I guess, like SIDS. And so to just have somebody, I don't know, the idea of having a sibling in your life and from one day to the next, then they're just gone, was just sort of a really kind of emotional thing. But the idea that they had played one of our songs at her funeral, and that we were a big enough part of her life that to celebrate her birthday they wanted to come to our show was just mind-blowing. So
Outside the sun is.
What do you guys?
I started a screenplay at some point.
Nice.
I started a screenplay at some point, and I've never finished it. And I've always felt like if I were really, I should just kind of get the courage to like finish it and see what comes of it. But I don't know if that'll ever happen. But it's something that has been on my list of things I would always love to accomplish or do. So
Yeah, one thing for me, we've been able to tour, I think, almost like 25 countries or something, like many places. But we've actually never played, and this kind of ties in musically, but even non-musically, I would love to go to Japan. We've never been to Japan. We've been to the airport like many times. We're
Connecting.
yeah, we practically live in Narita Airport, but but we've never actually like visited Tokyo and seen a lot of that kind of Japanese culture. So that's one thing for me I would love to experience.
I mean, I've been wanting to get a tattoo for a really long time. For years, I can't get myself, because I'm sort of like, I do like the more traditional art in our band, like graphic design.
He's
and
our art guy.
painting and stuff like that. And so for me, that first tattoo's got to be like a big deal. You know, that's got to be the design. And so I haven't come up with a design, but I'd like to get a tattoo.
And know you're free.
I'll always say nobody ever knows it.
I just texted them
Was
a
that on
video of
YouTube?
this kid.
That's
Maybe it was Facebook.
I'm
We're
sure
a
it's on
sucker
YouTube at this
for
point.
viral videos and for just any video that
And he's
pops up on
always
our
like
feed.
sending us these.
But there was this
viral
cute little
videos.
boy who was trying to sing
Let It Go.
Let It Go from Frozen, and he like sneezes and
Yeah.
like a booger comes out. But
It's very highbrow. You should definitely check it out. It's sophisticated.
But besides that, I think we're all friends with there's this like whole YouTube community, and so like I watch Ryan Higa's videos a lot. All the other musicians like Megan Nicole, Hannah Trigwell is a good friend of ours. She's actually signed to our record label, so I love watching other musicians' covers and videos.
Five Guys Burgers and Fries.
I love that. We have to say it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, go check out this guy named Dayum. It's Dayum, and his review of Five Guys Burgers and Fries is just inspirational.
And I said, baby.
I think we're gonna do a fresh take. It's what's really cool about the EP again is that we touring's such a big part of what we do, and the fans truly deserve to like hear the kinds of things that we've been working on. And it's kind of just a live show piece, standalone live show piece. So we had done some really serious, weighty music, and we got very known for that. But we wanted to try something fun, more upbeat. But now I think for this next, for the full album, we want to just go back to doing something that's maybe more like at the core of what we do, and continue to grow and evolve, but
It'll be a
just
little different, but it'll have more of that like.
feel more like an album, like a piece of, like a cohesive piece of music. We would love to do that. We've talked to the guys about it a couple times, and it's just their schedules are so busy, our schedule is so busy, and it's just a matter of finding the time to get together. But the guys are starting to write more, and a couple of them are kind of have been fans of what we do, and so I think it'd be a super cool experience to get in a room and write someday. We just gotta.
Yeah, we actually really I think all of us really like their band, and I think they're actually really, really good, which is cool, because it's like usually when a band gets that massive, sometimes it's not, they don't have the talent or the credentials to back it up. But I actually think all those guys are really, really talented. I was just listening yesterday and today a lot that You and I song, and they just all have really good voices, and they're all really hardworking. So I think it would be cool if we somehow wrote a song that they ended up picking up, because I know they would do it justice. They'd really make it sound good. So
Yeah.
You're gonna be the one that says